childhood toys, comic books, video games, and easy access to fresh-baked scones. To some, it's just a dream. But for me last weekend, it was a reality. The largest toy show in Washington, the Washington State Toy Fair, was held on November 4th and 5th. And as a bit of a doll collector myself, I of course had to go check it out. With the toy show being about an hour south of me in the city of Puyallup, I decided this would be the perfect opportunity to go on another solo adventure, considering I didn't want to make any of my friends wake up early on a Saturday morning to look at toys. Now they probably would have because I have really cool friends, but I still didn't want to put them through that. So this is my solo adventure going to a toy fair. My Saturday started with me waking up at 6 a.m. for some reason and deciding that I wanted to straighten my hair. Now the only reason I bring this up is because if you know anything about naturally curly hair or the weather in Washington, you might be able to put two and two together that this was not the best idea. And throughout the rest of this video, you're going to be able to play this fun game called Watch as Mary's Hair Changes because it's raining outside. So that's just some added context from why my hair might go from looking like this to not like that. I even cut my bangs this morning. I was so determined to be looking cute and to have a good day. And part of why I was so driven to look good and to look cute and to be feminine and all of that is, this might sound weird to the uninitiated, but toy shows and fairs, and frankly collecting, has historically been a more male-dominated space. So I just wanted to show up full out, looking girly, fully made up, hair done. Like, I wanted to be like, yes, I am feminine and I am taking up space and I am here for the Barbies. I have this amazing Barbie racing jacket. This was from Box Lunch. It is so warm. It's just like such a high quality jacket and it's so cute. I get so many compliments on it. So of course I was like, if I'm going to a toy fair, I have to bring it. And my purse of choice was this lovely, lovely Barbie one that I got from an estate sale a couple of weeks ago. I think I put up a reel of me opening this up. And I figured if anyone recognizes this, they'll be like the true Barbie fan because it's very like low-key Barbie branded. I mean, in the grand scheme of Barbie branded things, you know, it doesn't just say like Barbie, it's just the B. I wanted it to be obvious what I was there for. I want to see some dolls, I want to see some Barbies. Also, I just want to see toys in general though, like don't get me wrong, I just love toys. Before I left, I just want to shout this out as well. I have this little puzzle toy for Muska that you put cat treats in, so the cat has to kind of like work to get the treats out, you know, kind of use their brain. I always set it up for him if I'm going to be leaving for a while, and I've just found that he really enjoys it. And because I was going down south, I very boldly also started my day without coffee. And you might be like, Mary, but you love coffee, and that is very true. But I knew I was going to have access to Dutch Bros, so I was really excited. Dutch Bros is a coffee chain. I know a couple of them exist throughout Washington and maybe other states, but they do these energy drinks called Rebels, and I love them. I don't go there very often, so it definitely feels like a treat when I get to go and get my like essentially really fancy energy drink. I got a Starry Night, which was blue raspberry and pomegranate flavored. The color, not the cutest, but it did taste really good. Those are like two of my favorite flavors. So I just was like, you know, my little pep in my stuff to get me where I needed to be. And where was that? The Washington State Fairgrounds in Puyallup. Thankfully, parking was free. I arrived at 9:50 and I was able to walk over and get my admission ticket without waiting in any line for $8. So the fair actually had 3 admission periods, kind of. It had a 9 a.m. early start, which I think was $10. It had the 10 a.m. start, which was $8. And then lastly, like from 11 a.m. onwards, admission was only $5. Now the show was advertised as being from 10 to 4, so I was kind of confused about like the third group. I'm guessing that most of the serious collectors that are, you know, really trying to search out and find specific pieces probably get in with early group, and then there's me who's like kind of serious that come in with the 10 a.m. and then there's like everyone else who's kind of like, oh, I have a free weekend, let's just check out this thing, and they probably come at 11 or later. So I'm guessing just a lot less people come then, so they're just trying to, you know, make the ticket prices lower, so it's, you know, more incentive to go in. So this is the second toy show that I've personally been through. Both the ones I've gone to now are ran by the same company, so I don't know how different it is for other regions or other companies, but basically it's a big indoor space where they set up booths and they rent out the booths to sellers, and then the sellers fill them with things, and then I come and buy the things. Just me, personally. So it's kind of similar to like an antique mall, except obviously it's not a permanent setup in any way. For this event, they used 2 buildings at the fairgrounds, one of which had 2 stories as well. And I estimate there were maybe like 100 booths total, maybe more, maybe less. That was kind of just the vibe I got. Like there was quite a big selection. As for what was on the booths, so many toys. Now, I have kind of mixed feelings about the variety of toys at the event. If you don't already know, of course, doll collector here. And the last toy show I went to had so few dolls that I was really not optimistic about how many would be there. I even was in my Instagram story like, I don't think there'll be any dolls, but there's advertising that dolls will be there, so I guess I'll go. I'm so dramatic. But the good thing is that I was wrong about dolls being there. There definitely were dolls there. The bummer was that it definitely still wasn't a significant amount, and as well, not just of dolls, but of like girl toys in general. I would say the vast majority of the items that were for sale were Funko Pops, action figures, and Hot Wheels, which kind of lines up with what I see at a lot of antique malls and other kind of like selling spaces when it comes to toy collection. Tends to be a lot of those 3. There were basically walls of Funko Pops there, and the headquarters of Funko Pop is actually in Washington State, so I don't know if that kind of like affects the amount of sales though. I also know Funko Pops are technically like a huge thing, but I've never been very interested in them, so I just always am like, why are so many of these here? It feels like an outside world to me. I'm like, I don't quite get it. But I guess other people want them. That being said, there were a fantastic amount of vintage toys in general, which I love. Half of what I love the most when it comes to a vintage toy is the packaging. I just am so fascinated with the art design and, what people used to sell a product essentially. And I think 70s, 80s time period especially, they just had a lot of really colorful, fun stuff. I love getting to see some of the toys as well in general. I was also so enamored by these hats. Aren't they amazing? Like the eyelashes on them. I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I was going to Disney sometime soon because I would so badly want to wear one of these. There was also a good number of games, both board games as well as video games, which I don't know why I was surprised about video games being there. It makes total sense, like video games are toys, but for some reason I was like, oh, this is fun. I'm a gamer. And I actually even found a game I was looking for, which I was so not expecting. I was able to get a copy of Mario Tennis Power Tour, which was one of my favorite games as a kid, and I always have wanted to replay it. I'm so excited. I'm hoping to maybe stream it or something, or at least just, play it for myself. It's just one of those games that I have such like positive, warm childhood memories about, so I was so excited to actually find it. So that was actually my last purchase that I made, so very much ended on a high note. But then getting more into the stuff that I was really happy to see, of course, there were some dolls there. There were, I would say, about 5 booths out of everything that were mostly selling dolls or girls' toys. Out of the dolls, I would say the majority I was seeing was Monster High and, of course, Barbie. There were some of the collector Monster High dolls, which were just fun to see in person because I haven't personally seen any of them. And there were even some of the Sailor Moon dolls, which I didn't buy because I'm not like super into Sailor Moon, but I do just love seeing the dolls from the original like US run of the show. They're just so cute and kind of goofy and have like a really warm spot in my heart. A fair amount of the Barbies that I did see were also out of box, and like I said before, I'm kind of a packaging person. I like to keep most of my Barbies in box, so there weren't any there that were really interesting me. I'm also trying to be a bit more restrictive about what Barbies I collect. I've gone over the spiel before, but I just want to get ones that were related to the games that were released that I'm already collecting. So there weren't any dolls that I really wanted. I felt so bad though because I was wearing this giant Barbie jacket, and everywhere that was selling Barbies, it seemed like their face lit up. Like I got so many compliments on the jacket, but also I like felt that they were so expectant for me to actually buy something. They were like, oh yes, we have a Barbie collector here. And I felt so bad for not buying any. I was like, sorry. I will say I did buy one doll though, and it probably won't be at all what y'all are expecting. She goes against everything that I'm supposed to be buying right now. So this is Icy from Winx Club. She is naked, so I'm kind of trying to censor her here. She was just kind of in a lone box with a couple of other dolls. I loved Winx Club as a kid. I had some of the Winx Club dolls growing up, and so when I saw her, I just like felt, my little like heartstrings tugging. I was like, I could give her such a good home. So I'm hoping to either like remake her outfit or maybe I can find someone selling it. Like in the grand scheme of things, she's in good condition, minus the fact that she is naked. So this was the one doll that I did buy. She was a really good price too, so I didn't feel like too bad about it, even though I'm like really not allowed to be collecting Winx Club dolls because I don't have the space or the money for it. So this is the one Winx Club I got. My beautiful baddie, Icy, I love you. Oops. The last thing that I really enjoyed at the toy fair is there was a booth selling mystery vinyl figures, or like surprise box vinyl figures. I've always loved these, and it's really nice getting to like see the boxes in person and pick from them. They had a really huge selection. They also had kind of a cool setup where if you opened it right there and you liked the one that they were showing as a sample better than the one that you got, you could trade it, which was very cool. So I ended up getting it too. The first one is I got my first Sunny Angel. They had these cat ones, and I've always kind of wanted to get a Sunny Angel, but I was always like, oh, you know, none of them are speaking to me, but they have this Cat Life series, so of course, like, a girl loves her cat, and I had to get it. So I got this adorable little tabby one. He's so cute. I think I'm gonna put him either at my work desk or in my car. I feel like he would be a good one to put at my work desk though, because, you know, he's a fully clothed little cat guy. Then, my kind of splurge of the day is they had these BJD vinyl figures. Now, I've always thought that these were so cool. I've always been a fan of ball jointed dolls, and these are kind of like the cheap version of ball jointed dolls, with also the fun of it being a surprise box. So it's a lot of things that are appealing to me. So I spent a very long time picking them out. The lady at the booth was so nice and also like showed me all the other ones that they had that like only like 1 or 2 boxes of left, so they didn't have like out front on display. And so I decided to get one of the SC doll Simon's Club dolls. Simon's Club dolls ones. I am just so happy. These are so cute. So cute. Here I have her all made up. I'll probably post like a full unboxing, like ASMR unboxing. Oh my god, they're just so cute. She's so cute. So she hangs out at my desk. She's my little like video content supervisor. If you're like, who's helping run the channel? It's her. It's just so amazing how like intricate the joints are and stuff. She also came with a couple other sets of hands, which I haven't put the work into changing them out. So cute. So in total, I would say I spent about 2 hours at the fair, and I don't think I needed more time than that. I kind of went through and saw everything I wanted. They did also have some arcade machines set up, which I could have played, but I was like, oh, I'll let you know, the kids and other people there enjoy it. I will say the age range of people there was really fun to see. There was like a really wide age range. There were definitely people there with their families. There were some more like hardcore collectors there, and just casual people there, like that just loved toys. I thought it was fun to kind of like people watch and get kind of, you know, the vibe of everyone that was there enjoying themselves. But it hit around 11 o'clock and I finished up. I will say, because this event was held at the Washington State Fairgrounds, there was the booth selling Washington State Fair scones. I don't remember if they're like a different brand, but the scones are like a really iconic part of the Washington State Fair, and I haven't had them in forever. So I was really excited to get some. I will say the jam is almost too sweet in my opinion, which is like a rare thing for me to say because I love sugar, but they were still very good. So I highly recommend if you're ever gonna be around for fair season or events at the fairgrounds, pick up some scones. So I got those scones and I headed back to my car, and I had some time to kill. So I had made plans to meet up with my dad in the evening to get dinner in the area. So I had a few hours that I needed to fill. I went to a cafe and I kind of like filled out my planner, felt very professional. That took me like 30 minutes, and then I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? So what do I usually do to kill time? I go to Antique Mall. My classic activity, and thankfully there are a couple different ones that I could walk to in downtown Puyallup. Some items of note included a actually like good number of dolls, including a few of these life-size Barbies, which I found this larger like Superman figure at the toy fair, and I just thought it would be so funny to set up like him next to one of these life-size Barbies and they would be like in love. Marriage. I also am like a bit enamored with the idea of getting one of these life-size Barbies and like having her in the background and like dressing her up in different outfits for different videos. I'm not gonna do that, but I've thought about it. I also found a Masonic tea set, the Mickey Mouse phone that follows me everywhere. I swear to God, I see this thing everywhere, and pigs for sale. Just like a really great mix. My hair was really struggling at this point. It was starting to feel the effects of rain, and I had about 3 hours left, and I was wanting to find something I could do indoors nearby. So what does a normal person do? Go see the Eras Tour film for the second time by myself. This was actually the first time I've ever been to a movie by myself, which was actually like a really positive experience. I feel like that's a kind of weirdly nerve-wracking thing to do something like that alone. But it was really nice, and especially for the Eras Tour movie, I sat in the very back, and there were only like 4 other people, and they were way closer to the front, so I could kind of like do stuff on my phone while it was happening also, because I will say, I love the Eras Tour, but I've seen it twice in person, and I saw it once already on film, so my ADHD brain was like, let's play a little puzzle game. I need some more stimulation right now. But that was really nice, and also just in general, the Eras Tour is such an amazing performance. If you haven't had the chance to see it already, I highly recommend checking out the movie. We know I'm a fangirl. I can move on for this. From the movie, I went and met up with my dad for sushi, which was great, and then I headed home. My hair looked absolutely delightful by the time I got home, and I spent my evening setting up my multi-streaming stuff actually, which you might have already seen on my YouTube channel. All of my streams are now sent to YouTube, TikTok, and my Twitch at the same time. I'm only reading and looking at the Twitch chat though, but if you're ever wondering about that, it's just like another way that you can watch my stream if you prefer YouTube as a platform. Overall, with the Toy Fair, I would say I did enjoy it, but I did feel it was lacking in girls' toys. It might not feel totally obvious from the footage as well, but there were definitely a vast majority of like boy toys versus girl toys there, and it seems like that's historically kind of how it's been, and then there has been this mostly male audience of toy collectors. And I'm not trying to say that this group of people has to play with these toys. I'm more just like, okay, historically there has been this gender divide with toys, but only like half of these toys are really represented in these collector spaces like toy shows. I even chatted with one of the ladies who was running a booth, and she told me about how in like the 10 years that she's been working there, it's been like a really, really slow shift. Like at first there were basically no dolls, no girl toys, and just kind of in the last few years, more of them have started to appear, but it has been really slow. And you could easily say, but Mary, there are doll shows, just go to doll shows, and I will happily go to them. They kept getting canceled this year, but 2024, I swear to God, I am gonna go to a doll show. I really want to. But also, dolls aren't the only girl toys that aren't really being represented here. And I think it's weird that these shows don't really have a lot of like My Little Pony, Littlest Pet Shop, Sylvania Families, Strawberry Shortcake stuff. Like I know people are collecting these. I know that there are collectors, but it doesn't seem like these shows are catering to them. And I think it's a bit of like two-way street, you know, like the collectors have to have the stuff, but also the collectors have to be going to the toy shows. Like I actually had a lot of people be like, oh, I didn't bring my Barbie stuff today, because we usually don't have people that are buying Barbie stuff. Like straight up, we're like, yeah, like, are you coming tomorrow? I could bring stuff in. And, you know, sadly, I was only planning on going for the one day. But yeah, the fact of the matter is even if there are people that have this stuff, they don't bring them because they don't see a lot of those collectors coming to the toy shows. But also it's like, why would you go to the toy show if you didn't think that you could find the stuff that you want? It's hard. It's hard. So my moral of the story is go to toy shows if you can. Be feminine, take up space, buy dolls and girl toys, because toys are something that everyone should get to enjoy. They should not be divided up by gender in any way. And I'm just sad that it hasn't really historically been that way in the collector space. And this is coming from the eyes of a newbie, so I'm sure there are people here that would be like, I've been here forever and I'm doing fine, or stuff like that. But just, you know, as kind of a newbie to the space coming in, it's just a lot of action figures. It's a lot of Funko Pops as well, which I would say Funko Pops are the true gender neutral. Like, everyone can consider them bad. So that was my adventure going to the Washington State Toy Fair. If you have any questions for me, any things you recommend me checking out, especially in Washington State, please put them in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for joining me on this adventure, this solo adventure. Moral of the story, Go to things that you enjoy. By yourself, if you have to. It's gonna be fun. No one gave me a hard time. Thank God no one gave me a hard time. I really was like kind of nervous going in like fully made up because I was like, someone's gonna give me a hard time. Someone's gonna be weird and sexist or like weirdly flirty. Nope. People complimented my jacket, otherwise let me be, which is the way I prefer things to be a lot of the time. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Make sure to check out my streams. I am trying to do Fashion Dreamer streams in the morning as a little get ready with me moment, so be sure to check those out. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.